Guys, just a little update regarding the campsite at Potjiespram. Because due to we arriving late on our first evening here, we weren't aware that there were other campsites as well further down the road, which I'll try and capture for you guys, called or labeled Campsite B and Campsite C. Seems like Campsite C is the latest development. They're busy still construction with construction work there and setting up the camp, but very unique. This is the very first campsite that we are standing on currently, so everybody that arrives here that's looking for a place to camp out pitches in here first. Nice and big if you're a big family or a big convoy that wants to camp out, but the downside to it is it's very dusty and the wind comes up during the day. Not harsh wind, but due to the sand being riverbed sand, it's very dusty, so everything is just full of dust. But other than that, it's actually not a bad spot. Showers, you're looking at they call it a cold shower, but the water is not that bad, but it's not heated water system, so it's not like a hot shower that you will be used to at home. There's more than enough sunlight to charge up your system, your battery, auxiliary or dual battery system. I've just put the Flexo power panel on top of the roof of the vehicle just to assist with the charging of the battery. I don't want it to get full of sand, as we had enough of sand by this stage. And nature-wise, there's a couple of visitors here, or actually more local residents, I would say you can call them. Is what I know them as like river monkeys. They're all around the trees. They're staying here. At nighttime you can hear them. Early mornings they scouting the sites for some leftover food parcels or bits and pieces of stuff that I can eat. They're quite cute, but they can be a mess though, so just try and keep your waste and your leftover stuff, just keep it controlled and out of the way. And if you leave your camp, don't leave anything in your tent, because I'm sure they'll wreck your tent in order to get to the food. Other than that, just nice and quiet, especially if the wind's not blowing and the dust is not disturbing you. Okay, so over here is campsite B, which is an extension of where we're staying at Potjiespram. So at campsite B there's I think about 4 or 5 stands where you can stay. They've got a ablution block as well. The section that we're staying at is campsite A basically. And then even further down is campsite C. Still work in progress, but this is in my opinion the best option of the 3. Okay, so we decided to, instead of sitting at the camp in a dry patch of dust with a wind breeze every now and then coming up and covering everything from your ears into the tent full of dust, and not enjoy our trip, we headed out and explored around until we found this beautiful spot. Right up close next to the Orange River. And when I think Orange River, this is exactly what I have in mind. Basically hearing or feeling the Orange River physically and nothing else. So we usually made our way upon the spot, and now we're sitting here and just avoiding the dust basically for the day. Solar panels are out on the roof, the Flexo Power is assisting the two on the canopy, looking after our deep cycle battery in order to make the second leg of our journey from tomorrow onwards back to the west coast. There's some local doggy that pitched up and basically spending the day with us here, just chilling in the shade. And the rest of it, we're just chilling and enjoying the river, basically. Just free the mind, as they say. And then the other side of the story to our trip, which I think I did mention, that I might share with you guys later, is part of the reason why we decided to do this trip now instead of later, as I initially anticipated it would happen, is due to a first or third family member that's on its way, making its way into our lives. So that's going to happen if all goes well in September. So tomorrow we'll be packing up. Most likely start packing up late this afternoon already, some of the gear and some of the stuff, so we can head off early tomorrow so we don't arrive on the west coast again at night time and setting up camp at night time. So we're going to try and squeeze off a couple of hours tomorrow morning and make our way back to meet up with our buddies in Varswater campsite, also SANPARKS, west coast. And definitely this is a trip I would recommend, if not at least up to the west coast, definitely up to the Richtersveld as well. Make sure you make time to spend at least 2 or 3 days here in order to drive around and do some sightseeing and enjoy and absorb what you find in the area. We did find quite a couple of people that actually came in, parked up camp, slept over, and then kick off on a journey the following day again. I'm not sure what the journey in between entails, but I mean there's a lot of sightseeing to be done and a lot of nature and scenery to actually take in and appreciate while you're here. So don't rush through here. Make sure you spend a couple of days here and just basically have this and enjoy it and appreciate it instead of just driving past. So just a hint, maybe use it, don't use it. Another thing, if I forgot to mention it, is if you did not camp at the Whip camping site, make sure that you do drive the Pass. It's really scenic and quite unique. We did actually before drive it and in a different vehicle, not this vehicle, and we exited the SANPARKS via, I think what's called the Halskloof Pass, just after the main gate as you enter SANPARKS here. Also very scenic. We won't be driving it out tomorrow. It's quite time consuming but very unique. So if you can, you don't necessarily need a 4x4. We've done it before with a 2x4 vehicle, but your ground clearance is the challenge. But very nice. So make sure you put time aside and do that as well, and not only just bash in, spend the night and bash out on your journey the following day. Then you're missing 50% of what the area's got to offer. Make sure you do put in the time and effort and appreciate it. And then guys, as always, for those who have subscribed up until now, thank you very much for doing so. We hope you enjoy the content that we're trying to put out, or just sharing our journeys with you on our road trips, camping trips, etc. For those who have not subscribed yet, please do so. Hit the subscribe button below and the notification button if you feel like it. And thank you for watching and enjoying the trip with us so far. We'll keep you posted on a West Coast trip coming up the next couple of days. And boy, is that definitely a must do. 4x4, definitely yes. Deflated tires, a little bit. Sand driving, yeah, most likely. Not most likely, definitely you will encounter that. But gee whiz, you will not find it anywhere else in South Africa. We have sand driving and dunes in front of you, and less than a kilometer to your left you've got the ocean bashing down on the rocks. So it's very unique in its own unique way, so you won't find it anywhere else. So if you haven't done it, put it on your bucket list. It's definitely a bucket list to do. Tour and camping trip, in my opinion. Off-grid, water, yes, you need to supply. Electricity, yes, you need to supply. They do have toilet facilities everywhere we've been to. There's toilet facilities, or Emblution is here at SANPARKS, Richtersveld, but SANPARKS West Coast, there's at least a toilet, but the rest, water and electricity, you need to provide yourself, or cater for yourself. So just bear that in mind. But awesome trip, really. Put in the time and effort, some time in your life, and just do it. You won't regret it, I promise. So I'm basically just quickly boosting the battery full of charge for the night ahead, and also for the road that we're heading tomorrow. Okay. So having the last day, a wind-free and mostly dust-free day on a campsite B, without ending it off with a famous old marshmallow braai before throwing a pizza onto the oven. As I stand here, I can actually look at our meter. I've zeroed it on Saturday night. Not at home. On Saturday night when we hit the West Coast, I forgot to clear it at home. We've consumed 850 watts up until now. It's been 4 days into our trip. So once again, like I always say, as long as your solar power, or if you have the DC-DC setup and charging from your main battery, can push in more watts into the second battery than what you consume, you're more than safe. If that's not the case, then try and make sure you consume less by switching off or unplugging certain electrical items, just to maintain a healthy second battery and not run out of battery power. So that's the reason why I have the second, or the Flexo power panel, onto the vehicle's roof today, is in order just to make sure that the battery is happy and healthy and fully charged. So when we hit the road again tomorrow back to the West Coast, I know we're not going to run out of battery power. So just be smart about it. Don't just because you have electricity just consume. Monitor it if possible, and if you don't have a watt meter or a unit calculator device like we have, then I always tell the guys, When you get to 12.0 volts, that's your battery basically telling you it's empty, can't go any further. That's a very safe margin to use. So if you get to 12.0 volts and the day is over, there's no more solid to charge it with, make sure you switch it off, or make sure you charge early the next morning, not to lose your second battery during your trip, and then that might spoil half or most of your trip, if not the whole trip. So just be clever and do smart power management. That's all. Very simple. Stick to the basics.